Welcome to Home of Politics, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your support, subscribers, viewers, and those who are sharing my videos widely. I acknowledge you so much. Continue supporting me, and I promise you to drop every content so that you remain updated. Ladies and gentlemen, after the government announced the change in prices of fuel at midnight, we see there have been a lot of reaction from the public. Most of the people are not comfortable actually with the new prices that have been imposed by the government and EPRA, and we see there is a lot of criticism that have been coming across the country, and the thing that has left us wondering and very silent, and we don't know how to tackle this. It is about the reaction of David NDII. This is among the people who are in the panel of economists, the advisors of the president himself. And this is the person who is coming out evidently and boldly criticizing so much the act of the government's failure. And according to how many people have been seeing David NDII's move, it seems there is a hidden agenda behind his messages. For instance, I will read from his tweet on X app. He tweeted that we have abused credit for too long, pledged money on vanities, neglected production, and become a nation of entrepreneurs living large on wasteful public spending. We say all this in the plan, but clearly most of us don't read. Another one, I warned 9 years ago that we were on a reckless path if we did not stop ourselves on the iron laws of economics would do it for us. He also tweeted again, so here is the lowdown. Time for fake debt financed prosperity. It is over. Everyone will have paid their fair share of taxes. Cost of living will be addressed by raising production and productivity, not by public largesses. I have seen is asserted that Kibaki turned around economy in months. I was there. We did not. It took 3 years, but greed and ethnic chauvinism burned it up. The political and economic turbulence that continues to struck us is consequence of Kibaki squandering opportunities. According to David NDII, ladies and gentlemen, he is the chair of the Council of Economists who are advisors to the President of Kenya. But this is the same man who is coming out criticizing the government so much, giving out tough messages unapologetically and expressing some pain in him. And this has convinced the public so much that David NDII is working against the government, knowing very well that this is the closest person to the President of Kenya. Some of the people are speculating that David NDII is working hand in hand with the opposition or some other people who are against the government. But in really sense, the government and David NDII are working closely together. The first thing, David NDII being one of the best economists in Africa, he is the chair of the advisors of the president. And if he is the chair, whatever he communicates from that council or from that committee, it is what it is directed from the president, or it is the same information that the president of Kenya has it all. And tweeting this way on social media, drawing close attention of Kenyans, it is just a direct order from the president, because how can you fight yourself? In this way, we see David NDII cannot be against the president, and he cannot fight the one whom he should lead the way. But instead, he is trying to hide. He is trying to hide what is happening here. But take it from me, Kenyans, this is the direct message from the President of Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto. And he decided to use David NDII to communicate what the government is feeling itself, to what extent they have tried to fix the economy and where the challenge is coming from. And it is just the way it had been intended to be, and finally David NDII has come out to communicate. Why did these economists come out on social media putting their messages that are very, very crucial? Some of the people, they are saying that David NDII is not empathizing with the nation. People are bitter because of the result of the economy in Kenya, yet is coming from the government, imposing there a lot of pain again without comforting Kenyans or giving Kenyans hope for the future. The first reason is he is the chair of the economic advisors of the president, and communicating this on social media, it is not illegal according to David NDII. It is something that he has been permitted by the president himself, and the president is very much aware of what David NDII is doing, and that one is an order from the president. He is not fighting the government. He is just trying to express the effort that the government have put in place, but finally it has not worked out. And take it from David NDII that it is the wish of the government to inform the public that as much as Kenya Kwanza government is in leadership for 1 year, a period of year in the office, they have tried to fix so much the government from the previous regime, but it has not been fruitful. Instead, other issues, other global phenomena that are forcing Kenyan to have the pressure of hiking the prices of fuel is what has resulted to increase in fuel prices. Another reason we see the government has been trying to put a lot of measures maybe to control the situation of Kenya. For instance, we know that the previous regime, the regime of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, had a lot of debts. They went all around taking loans, bringing in to improve the situation of Kenya. Meanwhile, the time when the president was in office, things were at least maybe good because loans were questioning us and we did not experience a lot of things that we are seeing in this regime. Knowing very well that the former president will be out of office, he has left the burden to President William Samoei Ruto. And even if Kenyans will blame so much, will put many blames to President William Ruto, we are suffering the consequences of the previous regime. Now that we cannot drag Uhuru Kenyatta in this mess, it is the cross of the president who is sitting now in the office to bear. But we understand very well that during the time of the previous regime, it is the time now that we are paying the debts that belonged to the previous regime. And maybe this regime is also borrowing loans, borrowing money everywhere, but it will the weight or the consequences of these loans will be experienced in the years to come, not now. And according to how NDII is putting it across, it is very clear that Kenya is suffering from the debts and loans that President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was still in office by last year, came and picked all over. That is what is making the living standard to be so high and bringing in high cost of living in Kenya. Another reason as to why David NDII has communicated in a harsh way, it is painful to Kenyans that the situation of Kenya right now, it is not in place. We see high cost of living, things are not affordable anymore, and the economy of Kenya is fully not recovered. But the government of Ruto, maybe it is trying because they have displayed their achievements in a period of 1 year, and according to how they have worked, it is an achievement to some percentage. But Kenyans are not 100% or they are not pleased with what the results of 1 year in office is, because we expected that the cost of living will be low, food prices will be low, fuel prices will be low, according to the promises that this regime had promised us during the campaign period. But unfortunately, 1 year down the line, it has not come to pass. And the pain that Kenyans are having right now has been exaggerated with the high fuel cost that just hiked last day. And this has just brought a lot of tension, because instead of a leader from the government coming and keep giving out hope and giving us strategies that the government is putting in place to help the situation right now, he is coming again, inciting the people, putting pain in people's heart, and we see it has not been good picture at all. But as much as people are annoyed with the David NDII, with the government, and with everything right now in Kenya, the fact remains that what David NDII has just communicated, it is the intentions of the president to pass the fact to the Kenyans, because he himself as the president cannot come out publicly, start putting harsh messages on social media. This will discourage Kenyans. It will bring chaos and confusion, and it will ruin the peace that is existing right now in Kenya, considering that right now there is peace. Government and opposition are having their talks, at least to implement things that will help Kenyans. And for president using the NDII to bring this information to the public, he is aware that everybody has gotten the information rightly, and people should not even be blaming the NDII, because the situation right now is very helpless. And we see also the loans that were taken maybe during 2013 to 2022. This is the period when the former president was in office, and Kenya right now is suffering the consequences of these loans. And President Ruto, because he is the head of the state, will be blamed because of the debts of the previous regime. He has to struggle to maintain the state of Kenya right now, and also has to pay the loans back that were previously. And he has not also stopped taking loans. He has also taken loans, and this one will be experienced in future, the consequences of the loans that we are taking right now. And just to make it simple, David NDII is trying to communicate that the loans that are in Kenya and the debts are the ones that are making our situation to be worst, because we cannot afford to have affordable living standard, affordable cost of fuel, affordable food prices, while we need to maintain the consumption in Kenya and again pay the debts that we had borrowed. And he's just trying to communicate that the debts in the past are the one which is affecting the situation of Kenya right now. Here we also see that David NDII is just trying to differentiate between being a real politician, making a promise, and fulfilling the fact on the ground. He is trying to say that people believed so much in Kenya Kwanza's government because of the promises and the weaknesses of the previous regime that it had. And now the government of Kenya Kwanza was using the weaknesses of the previous regime to be the strength to at least to convince the public of their best ability to fix the situation of Kenya. But the real matter is the promises have not yet been fulfilled. Anything that the government can be proud of, maybe it is just a small percentage, and they had promised Kenyans a lot of things. And so Kenya should not rely so much on promises, because promises are just empty words. But when it have been implemented, or it have been translated to a physical thing that can be seen, that is when we can say that they did it the way they had promised. And for Kenyans, even this warning us against being lured by the promises that we are being given by these politicians. He himself, he says that he's not a politician and he cannot give hope to the public, which means it is very simple. All the promises or comforting Kenyan situation, it is just to give us hope for future. But as we are being given that hope, or as we hold on to that hope for future or bright future, we are still suffering. We are still enduring pain, and it will not be better anymore, because the situation is becoming very tough on our side. And him being an economist who is experienced, and they have just seen, and according to what they have put in place, they see that there is no way they can lie to Kenyans about the false hope, but the situation will be tough and tough and tough. And for David NDII, people should avoid relying on promises, and they should pick the facts that are being given. Ladies and gentlemen, take it for example, maybe when the president himself on his official page account, or he could have called a press and start giving out the facts about the government. Let's say, for example, he comes out and say, we have tried to fix the situation of Kenya since 2022 when he came in office, but it is impossible now. We are tired, we cannot fix it. You people will suffer and suffer and suffer. We see, if this message could be delivered directly from the president of Kenya, right now the situation of Kenya could be very, very bad, because people are fond of having misunderstanding. At the same time, the public is very, very is bitter on what the situation of Kenya is going through right now. We see it could paint a very bad picture. The president or the head of the state himself coming and disappointing Kenyans with bitter truth. That one could be very bad. Right now we could have witnessed a lot of demonstration, chaos, unrestfulness everywhere, and it could not be good. And so for president to communicate this information in a better way, he had to allow David NDII to air out the facts about how the economy of Kenya is heading to and how it should be. And so it is just important that the objective of the president has just been communicated, and these messages that David NDII is posting every time, even right now after 10 minutes he posts, is just trying to stipulate the facts that are happening in the government. And the government cannot come out clearly to tell Kenyans that you are suffering and you will suffer forever for 5 years since you elected us. No, they cannot do that way. They use some people from government like David NDII, the CS, other people who are stakeholders in different departments in the government. These are the people who will come out with the facts and tell you what is happening. For instance, there are so many CSs that may come and paint a good picture of the government before the public, but the fact of the matter is it is not what they speak. But the government itself or the president himself cannot come out boldly telling Kenyans that yes, you are enduring pain, but remember you will suffer forever. He cannot say that way. And using David NDII to communicate this information, the first reason is he is just trying to prepare Kenyans in case of any change in prices again in the commodities in Kenya, not only the fuel prices, but other commodities that are being consumed in Kenya, maybe food. Yeah, things can change anytime, and for preparing us at least to know how worse the economy of Kenya is and where we are heading to, he had to use David NDII to stipulate the facts so that we cannot be shocked more when that time arrives. And the possibility of things going high in prices is very high, because we see whenever fuel prices are high, it will affect everything. Transportation cost, production cost, everything will change. And because of fuel prices, we are expecting that some changes might arise again. And for David NDII putting this one across, telling us that the situation will not be better, the pain will go and go on, and it is not going to be better situation even tomorrow. People should learn how to live with this hard time. It is just to prepare Kenyans that just in case things changes, maybe if you go to the supermarket, you find things have hacked so much, the price is high, then you should not be shocked. You should not be very, very mad at the government, because they have just given you a prior warning that the situation will not be better now, but you will suffer and endure pain. Another thing is that David NDII is not apologetic on what is just communicated, and is not even showing any empathy to Kenyans because they are very, very painful. This is because what had been planned to be communicated to the public has well been delivered, and he is not shocked anymore to see things are changing to a worse direction than changing to a better direction, because he knows, according to an economist who has studied and done a lot of analysis in the economy of Kenya, he sees that right now we are heading to a very, very worst condition, and he have just warned Kenyans, and they should not be shocked anymore whenever changes again arise. And so, what do you think about this David NDII because people are lamenting so much. They feel that David NDII is not apologetic, and instead of giving the public hope, he's just trying to add pain on top of pain. What do you think? Because according to him, the message has been fully delivered, and he's not even guilty about it, because he keeps on reminding the Kenyans that the facts, people should hear the facts, even if they are bitter truth, but the facts remain. So the situation of Kenya right now will be the way it is, and the government, maybe it is doing so much to improve it, but right now everything has failed, and we have to remain with the facts that we have just been told. What do you think about this mode of communication that David NDII has just used? Send me your ideas in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a good day.